Hello, flying friends. Captain Mavic here again. I'm at the AMA headquarters. This time we're at the IRCHA, which is International Radio Controlled Helicopter Association, right?
Yes, sir.
Brian, you've been a part of IRCHA, and we actually met 4 years ago when I first started flying airplanes. I got my first airplane at the hobby town that you were working at,
right.
Little Sport Cub S. Sunday morning, we were out on a parking lot. I'm practicing flying with Steve Woods, and you come out and you bring out one of your whirly birds, and you go, and I'm going,
Nice.
oh my goodness!
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I've been at it 10 years, and I had never flown before.
Uh-huh.
I was fortunate enough when the Obama administration gave out stimulus checks. I used that to buy my first helicopter.
So did
That's
you
how I learned to fly.
start in helicopters?
I did not. I started with a coaxial kind of helicopter, but not a collective pitch.
Okay.
Okay, so just a basic, something you can get at Walmart that has double rotor blades.
Yeah.
And I practiced on that for a couple weeks.
Wow.
Right? And then I went right into the Blade 400, which I was a little bit scared of. Took a couple weeks to really take it out of the box and fly it.
So Blade 400, does that stand for the prop length? Or?
Well, it was the model class of that size. So
Okay.
it's your standard ready to fly collective pitch helicopter, which is capable of 3D aerobatics.
All right, I'm gonna have Brian kind of go through, because I'm a noob on these helicopters. I'm gonna have him kind of talk about what makes an airplane fly, and if it interests you, I appreciate it. So.
Okay, the way a collective pitch helicopter flies is when the blades are flat, we call that zero pitch. Now these blades are possible to go up to 12 and 13 degrees of positive pitch, creating normal lift like a traditional helicopter. But they are also, while in flight, by activating a stunt mode, capable of generating negative pitch, which we all know, if we flip it upside down, enables an inverted hover. And if we were to give it throttle at this position, it would climb out upside down, and it's capable of transitioning between positive and negative very quickly.
And then are you doing that with a switch?
We do that with the standard radio control once you activate the flight mode. So there's a switch that activates the flight mode. So basically when you take off, we're in what we call normal mode, and when we hit the switch, now either 100% positive or 100% negative, the motor still runs. Okay, that allows us, otherwise, if we flipped the helicopter over in normal and went to zero throttle, it would die. So basically it's a governor, and it locks the throttle in at a certain RPM, 80, 90%, and that's what generates the positive and negative lift, because it keeps the power going the whole time, at which point the blades just transition.
So is your left stick throttle at mid position?
Zero pitch.
Zero, okay.
So when you're at half throttle, you're generating zero lift on the aircraft. The blades are perfectly flat.
So when you say zero pitch, you're not talking about throttle all the way down, you're talking mid stick.
I'm talking about at 50% throttle, we call that zero pitch.
Okay, on helicopter.
And once we activate the stunt mode, if we were to go down to what would normally be zero throttle, would actually be 100% throttle in negative
Upside down.
mode.
Oh, wow.
So it would just climb out full throttle, and it would never stop. So that's why we use the switch to go in and out of our stunt modes. Otherwise, it would be very hard to land. With all that negative pitch, it would be very difficult to go up.
I bet. Wow. Okay, so then what else? We have a tail prop.
You have the tail rotor, which is the same thing. It can generate left and right torque, okay? And that creates the rotor action, allows it to spin both left and right. Equal directions. Now, the rotor head generates a certain amount of torque one way. So this tail shaft is long enough to accommodate both the maximum amount of torque at either direction. Okay, even with the added rotational torque from the rotor head, these blades are still capable of countering that and giving you full authority.
So it becomes neutral.
Exactly.
So do you have to put the throttle at a certain position in order to do that, or just by trim?
They calculated when they designed the helicopter the length of the tail shaft versus the pitch of the blades and how much they would need to counter the overall torque of the main rotor head system. Otherwise, every time you give it throttle, it's going to kick out left and right.
Kind of like your torque that you have on airplanes.
Exactly. That's why the incidence of the
P factor
on the motor is to the right and down.
Okay. Now this green, that's not a propeller. Is that like a rudder?
This is a tail fin, and I was unhappy with the one that came with it.
So you did your own modification?
A blade from a quad, which is much stiffer and rigid, and put it on there.
That's cool. So it comes with, by design, you just modified it.
That's right.
Okay. And that's to kind of, as you're going forward.
So when you land, you don't dig the tail blade rotor into the ground.
Oh, so it doesn't have any aeronautical.
It does not.
It's just for
And
Okay.
sometimes they call it finless Sundays around here, where everybody takes all their fins off their aircraft and they go and fly without.
Oh, wow. Finless Sundays.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a thing, yeah.
Very cool. There's jargon in every field discipline that you're in. All right. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You won 3 awards.
I did, yeah.
Tell us about it.
Well, it was a struggle. I had some mechanical failures and things going on, but luckily they dropped your last or your worst round.
Okay.
So with
How many
that factor,
would
I was
you-
able to
how many
pull through.
rounds?
There was 7 rounds.
Okay.
Judged on 6. So, and I had some failures and had to take some zeros in a round, but luckily my next few rounds made up for it.
Yeah.
And when we dropped the lowest round, I moved up in the position. So I got 2nd place in scale, that's 518. That's sport scale. And then the agile over there for advanced class, which is basically precision aerobatics.
Okay.
I've been flying that. That's a prototype that I've had for 6 years. It served me very well.
Wow.
It was a fun week.
I bet. The scale helicopter is amazing. Since I don't know my helicopters, what is this?
That is a Cobra.
Okay, it is a Cobra.
Yep.
Wow.
And interesting enough, that sport scale is designed for people that maybe don't have a lot of talent when it comes to the scale building, but they can fly and they enjoy the hobby. Because you can buy that aligned kit and you can buy the aligned fuselage, and with simple, assembly, you can create that model.
Okay.
518 is a little bit different. That you have to build and construct and do a little bit more work for. But I enjoy it. It's one of my favorites.
These are beautiful, man.
Thank you.
I love how the props has like an iridescent, I don't know if the camera picks it up, but the sun.
I have to tell you, the judges, they even commented, they said, hey Brian, this is scale. And if you want to earn points on your rotor head, we got to get you some scale blades. And I told them, I love those flames. And if you guys win because I have flames on my blades, then good luck, dude. Good for you, right?
That's awesome.
I love them. I love them.
Too cool. Wow. So, looks like the stunt plane has extra fans in the front.
It does. It's extremely hot in the summer when we fly, usually beginning of August, late July, like this year.
Right.
And so that is from a 5th scale RC car motor that I modified to keep my speed controller cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we all know with speed controllers, if you can keep the temperature of which they're running a little bit cooler than what the manufacturer specs out, then they last longer.
That's right.
Obviously, the cooler is like running your engine at half throttle instead of full throttle.
Right.
So, this particular model, I was fortunate enough. This is the new A7. This has been released by KDS Models. What's interesting, it's a $400 kit.
Okay.
A 700 size helicopter for $400.
That's unreal.
Yeah, it is. It's the first of its kind as far as affordability, right? The performance, everything is there. It's a brother to that one.
Okay.
They made some slight changes in the servo geometry, and now we have a removable battery tray. Where that one they strapped in, you had to pull them out. This one has a battery tray.
Has a little sled and stuff. Okay.
Nice.
And how many batteries does it take?
It takes 2. It runs on 2 6Ls.
6 cells, and what's the milliamp?
5,000.
So 10,000.
Well, it's actually 5,000 at 50 volts because it's in series.
In series, gotcha.
Yes,
okay.
It's still only good for 4 minutes. So the power to weight ratio in this helicopter is pretty phenomenal. I bet in its top speed it does 80, 90 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Right? I have only got a couple test hovers, so I'm hoping later this afternoon to give you a demonstration of what the capabilities of this aircraft
We would
are.
love that, Brian. Wow. So,
take a little peek underneath the hood if you like.
Yeah. So point stuff out because I'm new.
Well, this is the E-bar, and this is responsible. This is the avionics on the aircraft. Without this, it won't fly, similar to an F-16 jet.
So is it like the flight controller on a quad?
It is absolutely the same.
Okay.
Yep. A lot of the same things. These are the servos. These are basically your elevator, aileron, and your pitch. We use pitch as the other servo, and it generates. They all work together to go up and down. This is a Scorpion motor. It's one of the top-rated motors. It's going to give you the most power. Scorpion Commander speed controller.
How's the motor controlling, belt or chain or what?
This one is rather unique when it comes to helicopters because it's a belt drive off the motor, but the one-way and the auto rotation is built into the transmission instead of the gear.
Okay.
So normally on a helicopter, we would have a one-way bearing that spins right here.
Yeah.
So when we get off the throttle, the rotor head continue the RPM in which it had.
Right.
Right, and doesn't have drag on it. Well, they moved that because when we crash these helicopters, all that energy travels right through the head, down the shaft, into the gear.
Oh,
okay, so they moved the rotation bearing into this transmission gear right here.
Okay.
So that's what's kind of neat about this. When I built it, I was like, well, how's this thing auto-rotate? And then I figured it out that they had moved it into this gear up front and got it off the main drive system, which is unique. There's not quite a lot of helicopters. Like the old generation, the one-way bearing is on the main shaft.
Right.
And we didn't really have issues with it, but after several crashes, you can expect that all that energy, that bearing's going to eventually fail and you'll be replacing it. So by moving it over into this transmission, hopefully it alleviates that.
And then this is
that's the Scorpion Commander, and this is what processes the power through the batteries into the motor.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
This one's kind of neat because it has a remote control, so you can change this from helicopter to airplane and add your brake or any of the things that you need to do with just a simple remote control like you'd have for your TV.
And I see a little LED there.
That's the infrared LED that receives it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So is it changeable from the radio or like a phone?
It actually has a remote control like your TV.
Oh.
It came with the unit, and you just point it at it, and if you want to change the governor or put this on an airplane, you just say airplane mode and you're done.
That's cool.
It's pretty neat.
Wow, man. Goodness.
I use Spektrum, in case you're wondering. My radio system's a Spektrum. That's a Spektrum receiver.
Yep.
And we run satellites on it. So it's important to keep your antennas away from the carbon fiber because that does shield it.
Yeah,
so
no matter what. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got good diversity at that point.
Goodness.
All right, so I hope to give you a little bit of flight demonstration later.
Brian, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
taking your time,
Thank you.
brother.
Yes, sir. Good.
Getting a little too close. Like
Back up.
No.
Okay, well, that needs to be that. 87. First official 3D flight with it. Now we'll go back and make some small adjustments the way I like it. Thank you.